Paper 1, question 21. The table below shows information about the heights of 60 students. Voila. On the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for the information in the table. Now, the first thing to note is that I have added this third column on the end for cumulative frequency. That's because the table that it's given you, it's a frequency table. This number of students column, they could have just put frequency because there are 4 students that lie between 140 and 150, 5 students that lie between 150 and 160, so on. It's just how many, just frequency. So before I even look at the graph, I need to find the cumulative frequency for this table. The way I recommend to remember this, at least it's in terms of how I remember it, is that cumulative sounds like the word accumulate, kind of. And that's basically exactly what's going on here. These are frequencies, and the cumulative frequency accumulates all the frequencies. Try saying that 10 times quickly. But basically, as you go down row by row, you accumulate all the frequencies that have happened up until that point. So, up until 150, 4 have happened. Up until 160, 5 and 4 have happened. Up until 170, 16 and 15 and 4. Now, I know what I'm saying up until. When I said here, like, up until, I'm really meaning that everything below 170. So although I'm pointing here, I'm kind of including all of this as well. Okay? So here, everything up until 150, there's only been 4 of them. Up until 160, you have 9. And 25, 52, 57 and 60. One thing to note, that the last value of cumulative frequency should match the total because you have accumulated every single frequency that is there. You've accumulated all the students. And if you take a look at the first line of that question, it tells you there are 60 students. So there's a clue. If your question's nice enough to give you the total on a plate like that, quick check just to make sure you have accumulated them all. As far as plotting the graph is concerned, if you just take a look at that page, there's a problem, or what might seem a problem, is the fact that you are given classes, you're given groupings of x values rather than individual ones. So it might appear that you can't plot exact points. There's one strategy to this question that involves drawing bars. Feel free to explore that if you will. I'm going to just talk about something else because you don't really need the bars. Back to the beginning when I used the phrase up until about 20 times. And I make no apologies for saying it again, because you have 4 students that are a height up to 50 and 9 students up to 160, up to 170. It's these numbers that you're going to use for plotting your cumulative frequency graph. Okay? There are other topics in statistics where you look for the midpoints of these groups and then plot your graph there, but cumulative frequency involves accumulating all the numbers. It involves accumulating everything that has happened up to a number, up to 150, up to 160, up to 170. So those are the values we're going with. So if you plot 150, 4, 160, 9, 170, 25, so on and so forth, you'll end up with crosses like so. Generally in any cumulative frequency question, you're going to end up with, when you connect these up, with a sort of S-looking graph. I won't go into any detail about why that is, but long and short, you're going to have an S. It could be a very straight one, it could be a very slanted one, but there should be a sort of S motion happening here, okay? You can join these up with straight lines, but it's not technically a line graph that you would do something like that for. This should have a curve to it, okay? If you put in your curve, also make sure that you start at 0 for 140, because if you think about it logically, of these students, none of them were 140. You hadn't accumulated any students yet, so you're starting here at the origin, okay? As you draw through, just kind of put a curve on it. Recommend you do this in pencil, and once you have something that looks nice, put highlight pen over it, okay? And that's it.